Hello everybody, welcome back. We have enjoyed that short little break. We are ready for some more round of 32 action. Up next, Russia versus Argentina, the 4th seed of the tournament up against the 29th seed. Looks a little one-sided in this situation, but to cast this this interesting matchup between these two teams is, of course, the wonderful Aza. How are you doing, dude?
Good morning. It's nice to be up for this. I'm pretty excited to see some of these matches that are remaining. Pretty happy to see Russia get to play in the World Cup. I think they've got a really interesting roster, right? A lot of talk about them, and you know how much potential they have. You know, we've seen so many of their players just show pretty extreme amounts of improvement throughout the year. I think, you know, most notably for me, Walter has been such a treat to watch in anything, you know, he participates in. So I'm pretty excited that we finally get to see them play. It's going to be a pretty tough opponent for Argentina, but that's kind of to be expected, right? Seed number 4 to seed number 29. A little bit of a David versus Goliath here, but I mean, I'm hoping that Argentina gets to show a few things that maybe we're not aware of. Argentina also kind of a roster that has changed a little bit. You know, some of their more historical players have kind of been done playing for a bit now, so lots of new names, lots of things to be proven. And, you know, just yesterday, I kind of said the same thing about Brazil, which I think they were seeded at 17th. Lots of new names on that team that we're not familiar with, and they definitely showed us that, you know, they absolutely can compete. So, you know, despite being against Russia here, good chance that they have something to show us today.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to swap out members and still have a good performance is always very impressive to see, but it's also nice as well. You know, Russia only having one player that they've swapped out from last year, Din, of course, stepping down for Ice Shark, means, you know, you've got a team with a good amount of experience and consistency to bring along with that. So I definitely feel like for Russia, they've got a team that knows what they want to achieve in this World Cup, and they really want to push for that top 3 slot, and they have a team that can do it. So I'm really excited to see what they can showcase in this first match, but it's going to be up to them to start us off with the bans, and they're going in with that hidden 2. That hidden 2 has not been well liked this round of 32 stage.
Yeah, there's a couple of maps other than the usual, the usual victims, we can say, you know, like the DT2s and all that are, you know, no matter what map you put in there, I think a pretty common target for bans if you think there's a huge imbalance in that skill set. But there's a couple of maps that have kind of been banned quite often. Both of the hiddens, I was gonna say both of the hiddens pretty commonly banned for different reasons, and they're both gonna be banned in this one as well. And probably Nomad 4 as well, which hasn't been banned too much, but that map's definitely been pretty ignored. I think by pretty far the lowest presence map. Maybe Fremont 2 is one that doesn't have the highest presence. These two maps not too popular, I think, for teams in round of 32. So maybe we'll see if that changes today. But yeah, both of these teams banning out their respective hidden picks, so not going to be seeing any of that this match. I'm pretty interested to see, you know, like, as a long-term thing, if you've been watching the World Cup for a while, a lot of the sentiment surrounding Russia and their teams pretty much every single year is like, there's so much potential on this team, you know, that they do so well, but they never really have the results to show it. You know, they're always like bottom top 6, top 8 kind of thing, and there's always so much more potential to have so much better within this team. So I'm pretty curious to see if they get to show that off this year, because I think, you know, they've been saying themselves this is probably one of the best teams they've had in a long time. There's a lot of synergy and like camaraderie within all these players, right? They are really intimately familiar with all 8 of the players that are playing here. They all really enjoy playing with each other, and I think that can go a long way. So I'm very excited to see what they get to show us. It's only round of 32, but even this early on, right, we've seen a lot of the maps be pretty easy, pretty comfortable. This one in particular, very common first pick, actually, this map. Definitely the most common first pick by very far. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I've seen this first pick maybe in like 6 matches so far. It's like very easy map if you can play this type of skill set. Nice to get into. It's nice little warm up, you know. We've also seen a ridiculous amount of SS runs on this as well, so definitely some players in this lobby that could add to that number for sure.
Yeah, there's so much of a just basic kind of skill check. Can you put a 4-man roster for this within it? If you can, then you're going to have a great time in a really competitive match. If you can't, it's a great first pick for whichever team can't. Seeing that Argentina picked into this, you'd be under the assumption that obviously they can put a decent 4-man roster for this, and you know, looking at this Russian team, you definitely would. You're expecting a very competitive matchup between these two rosters here, because I mean, this Russian roster, I'm trying to remember how well they did on the sort of relative DT2 / No Mod 2 kind of style of map, and
yeah, this type of map wasn't really present in qualifiers, so this might be a little bit interesting. But I mean, even if you compare the No Mod 2 qualifiers, which probably has a similar amount of tapping, really outstanding score for Russia. Everyone has really good accuracy in that run, and same with both of the DTs that kind of have that speed element. Pretty exceptional runs on that one. We're going to be seeing Ice Shark, which I think normally only plays DT, but I mean, this map is pretty, you could say, DT adjacent, so yeah.
Yeah, it had a really great run in the qualifiers, getting a full combo on that DT2, so definitely one of those core members that you expect to see here. And see if they can showcase. We have had Rico having an early break, but other than that, everyone else holding really strong here in this first quarter of the map. Good adjustment for both teams, but it is a slight advantage for Russia at this stage.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is probably, I mean, I already mentioned this is probably the easiest map in the pool, but the score average on this one, I think, is also the highest out of every other map so far, or pretty close to that. It's, you know, if you can play this type of map, very easy to be consistent on. At round of 32, these types of speed picks, you know, if you're able to tap it, not really much to miss on. In fact, the few misses that we've already seen, it seems to kind of just be transitions between certain patterns. So I think that's what happened to Ciccone and Rico just now, and Vicio as well, earlier in this map, right? It's just like a slider end or something like that, so accuracy still really high across the board here. Looking pretty comfortable. Again, it's just those tiny misses on transitions for these patterns, especially first map in OWC, right? Lots of nerves that can affect that, so it's good to see, though, that there's a lot of players not affected by that. Still 5 combos across the board.
It's that old adage of it's not the hardest stuff you tend to miss on, it's the easier stuff you tend to overthink. And like I said, the nerves are really going to add to that, make it even more likely. But still, both sides with lots of potential here going into the last quarter of the map. Still got 2 full combos on the side of Argentina, and Russia's still got those 3 up, but again, one slight mistake could be punishing for both teams. Doesn't look like Russia's going to give it up. Could be like having another reset. Unfortunately, it looks like it's just the sliders, like you said, but it is doing the damage and it is allowing Russia to sweep up this point quite nicely. A very early break point.
I mean, that's pretty much a solid way to open this for Russia. There's almost 700k lead. Look at the accuracies. Look at Ciccone's score with the SS and 1 slider break, and of course another one on the list. Welcome Walter to the No Mod 2 SS club with a member count of like 8 or something. We've got a lot now. Very solid performance on Russia here, and it's not even their pick, right? So Argentina definitely did their best, right? Great performances on a few of them, but again, slight miss aims on this are going to be pretty costly when the map is pretty straightforward to the combo, right? So that's going to be most of the difference. 700k breakpoint here in favor of Russia. Now we get onto their pick, and they're gonna go with a, I'm not sure, this map has a weird description. You could probably say this is a hybrid between alt and like slider aim tech. We've seen it a lot, it's pretty common, but it's also very long. This is kind of interesting to me because historically you'd recognize Russia to be way more of like a mechanics team, and this is not a mechanics map by any means. It's very much consistency with a lot of weird patterns. The length of this ends up mattering quite a lot from what we've seen. The map looks pretty simple. In fact, this map's not even 6 stars, by the way. So, but it's so long. The difficulty is so consistent, right? So, It's a bit of a different type of experience, this one. Really needs to be consistent. Going to be seeing some new players come in here, Scroll and Disque as well. And it looks like Argentina is still making a few swaps.
Again, yeah, like you said, it's a map of two states where it's either focusing on its, you know, flow and alternating patterns, or it's really going heavy on the slider tracing of this map, and that can create, like you said, a unique experience where you're having to pull together a lot of different skill sets and be consistent at them for a great period of time. So it is a tough map to even try and get one full combo on in match, but to try and get multiple, which is what Argentina are going to have to do if they're going to want to try and break back against this Russian roster, is going to be a real difficulty. But a solo carry can take you quite far on this map because of how challenging it is and its requirements.
Yeah, getting to see a couple new players here as well. Again, as a reminder, even though it's Sunday, still the first OWC match played for both of these teams. In fact, for some of these new players, first OWC match ever. So it should be pretty interesting to see if they can keep up. Again, this is a really long one, so strap in. A lot of this map is going to be pretty easy and comfortable, but that does mean that, you know, missing a single one of these transitions here, you know, getting a cider break on any of these parts with cider aim, really going to matter in the long run. Almost 4 minutes. And I think when you're against Russia and it's their pick on this, I think this might be a little bit of a tall order, but we have seen some wins on stuff like this before. It definitely can happen. In fact, Argentina starting this with a little bit of an accuracy lead, not really much so far, but it's nice to see that there is a lead for them so far.
Let's see how far they can take it there as we hit that first key out time. PvPview going to be the first one to drop. It hasn't affected them immediately, but the score is going over to the Russian side as they don't trade it up for them. And now we're onto that more slider tracing focused part of the map. Really important to try and keep your accuracy on these. Combo reigning above all. And 7 out of 8 players making it through that with no issues is great for both sides. Going back into it.
It's still really close. I mean, the accuracy lead as well for Argentina, despite another miss here from Bomilk. 2 of their FCs dropping now, but I mean, still maintaining overall, I think, pretty close to an accuracy lead on this. It's pretty hard to actually get good accuracy on this, despite the map being pretty easy to play. Some of these sliders, if you try to play them correctly and not cheese them and stuff, pretty solid chance to miss. So I think we're already seeing a few of these players kind of opt into cheese them a little bit and just aim for slider ticks on some of the faster ones. But yeah, halfway in now. Russia going in with a 200k lead, still no misses. And we'll see if they can keep that up.
Yeah, back into slider tracing again. And they've just looked so comfortable on this. Gamer, though, as I say it, does come up with a slider break.
Oh, it's match, though.
Oh, no. Smash K going to be dropping the last full combo for Argentina. PvPview now with the highest combo for them, but he's up against 3 full combos for Russia. And that does not bode well for the last quarter of the map, as that score margin really going to start to shoot up now for Russia.
This is a really good team score so far.
This is insane.
Even for all of the other top teams that we've actually seen play, like this is up there for sure. Only one cider break here, nearing the end of the map. Only one last section. I mean, victory pretty much assured on this one. 800k and rising very rapidly on this one. Definitely going to end up 1 mil, even higher at the end of this map, which is pretty rare to see on a no-mod pick. So, extreme. Whoop. Don't know what happened there on those 2 misses, but yeah, this is how you'd want a first pick to go. You wouldn't really have it any other way here. And still keeping their combos to the very end. 3 FCs and 2 FCs and 2 slider breaks. Oh, I think that was a cider break for Walter. We can count that one, I think. I mean, even despite the cider break there, Walter with the accuracy actually getting higher score than some of the other FCs in the lobby, I think. Oh, never mind. Flipped over at the very last second. It looks like this UK managed to keep it above here a little bit, but extremely good score from Russia here. This is really scary to go up against. Just pretty much one slider break from Gamer there. And really good accuracies on this map considering, you know, how many sliders there are on this. And, you know, the average accuracy on this has been definitely on the lower side. So this is the Russia that people intended to see, I think. So it's nice that they get to see that on their first pick. And maybe some signs of some signs of change for this team. Like I said, I mean, usually this team more of a mechanics focused team. You know, you'll see them as a DT country for the most part. I mean, Russia got some of the best scores in qualifiers on many of the DT maps. So if that's what Argentina wants to go for, I think this is a bit hard to play against. I mean, it's always hard in these situations because, I mean, if you're Argentina here, maybe you'd want to play DT or you want to play the mechanics, but if Russia can match you on all of those, it can be a little complicated sometimes. So we'll have to see if Argentina feels more comfortable on this one. The Nomad 2 pick did not work so well for them for the first round, so maybe this one will be different.
Yeah, this DT2 is it's an interesting choice. Picking into Russia into this sort of thing, they're normally known for being quite good at this, but we've seen throughout this weekend that this DT2 very well liked by players, very popular among most teams. It just seems for those who can play it, which is pretty much everyone, that every team's got like a 4-man roster for this, and that kind of creates a unique situation where it's more focused on who chokes it the hardest, you know, who cannot carry those consistency. And for those lower seeded teams, it creates a very nice option where, you know, it can just be put a bit of pressure on your higher seeded team and try and trip them up and cause them to make easy mistakes. It's a very good map for that sort of thing, and we'll see. You know, it's a bit like having a Nomad 1. So we'll see if it produces any spectacles here.
Oh, wouldn't be OWC without an early stage satellite Senya DT map. I've lost count of how many years in a row we've had this. I'm gonna say like 4, 5. I don't know, but it's a well-beloved staple, I think, for everyone involved. If you're the type of player that's going to play this type of stuff, right, it doesn't really get more comfortable than this. So it's nice to have these picks sometimes. We definitely pull with them in mind as well. Sometimes it's not so much about just putting all the hype and stuff. Sometimes you need something that's really comfortable, that the players will really want to play, and I think this has proven to be one of the more popular maps in pick ban as a whole, not just picked. So both sides here looking really comfortable at the start, but pretty noticeable accuracy lead here. It's still no misses and a 50k lead before we even get to the first hard section here is kind of crazy.
Yeah, PPPU kind of struggling a little bit on the accuracy. Mashing maybe a little bit through the end of these and does trip him up at the end, but Chaconi going to be trading things up for Russia, so there we go.
An over tap. Wait, does Chaconi play with Rapid Trigger? I think that might have been that. He did another input at the end of the stream there, so it made a miss on the stack afterwards. That's unfortunate.
Still right for Russia. They are in a very strong position at this stage. Still 3 full combos, but Argentina still hanging in there with 3 full combos of their own. But PPPU kind of making that score difference. Oh, and Rico going to be finding a combo reset themselves. So now you're going to start to see this score bar fire up much quicker towards the Russian side. They don't trade it up this time.
I don't know how I feel about this pick. This is, I mean, it's Russia. Like Russia,
it's Russia, dude.
They've shown to have pretty crazy performances on the qualifiers like this. So like, surely you have to know this is going to happen. some of their players, admittedly, I mean, Boss Plays and Pomok are doing really good, just completely matching them. Very solid accuracies as well, but I don't know. I wonder if Argentina felt maybe pressured to pick this for one reason or another, but
I mean, they definitely haven't got bad scores on this. You know, they're still looking to bring home 2 full combos as well as a really good accuracy play from Rico, but yeah, I think just maybe not quite having the 4-man roster they would have liked. Maybe that was what they were thinking, but Russia have just punished them despite having you know, a combo reset of their own. It's a good plan. I just don't think it's worked out for them.
spotting a common pattern here for the Russian team. Lots of 3-ways with like 1 miss, 1 slider break. It's gonna happen one more time here. 4.3 mil seems kind of an insane score, but I think on this map, we've also kind of seen that. Look at, they all have the same score. 16 to 1900s. Extremely solid performance here. Just Chaconi with that one, unfortunate stack miss. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a great demonstration that what we see in these early rounds is really it's really a team game. Bomok and Boss Plays absolutely matched everyone on the Russian team, but it's a 4-player team. And I think when the maps are easier like this, I think even if you have solid players, sometimes it's kind of hard to have a solo carry performance this early on. So, nice little demonstration of that. And now we're going to go to No 1-1.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it, or are you going to leave it to me?
I mean, I don't know. What are you going to say about this? I mean, it's definitely normal, It's despite what the critics say, stop pulling is not entirely dead. It's definitely normal, no mod 1. Just jumps, just aim all the way, nothing else. Very regular map here. Nothing to see. Move along.
Nothing has been ruined by this map showing up. Anything of that sort. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, there isn't too much to talk about really in terms of how this map plays. Very consistent with its back and forth 1-2 jumps. There are some sliders at the ends of some of these short jump sections, which can catch people out, but that's most of the map. There is a small tech section, sort of around the 2/3 to last quarter mark of the map, which hasn't really tripped people up, I've noticed, but it is there, so it is something to watch out for. But yeah, a Russia pick. This is the mechanics you were talking about that they're known for.
Okay, I will say, despite how much critiquing I did of Argentina's last pick there, I don't know if this is also that great for Russia. This is such an RNG map, as is all aim maps usually. This type of map in early rounds tends to be really favored for like the underdog to be picking, right? Just as a nature, you're already seeing this despite how good Russia's been playing. We just got started, already 2 misses, right? This map is just, this is just gonna happen, right? Like if you need a coin flip, usually underdog tends to do better on that one. So we'll have to see how this ends up. A couple of misses have been matched as well on the Argentine side, Kaushi and PB Pupu as well. But I mean, still good recovers from Welter and Disuke here. But we have seen these early misses like before the hard part of this. We could call it a hard part. I don't know. I think it's taking a lot. It's not actually hard, but it really takes you out of it. And in case you haven't seen it, here you go. No 1-1. No 1-1, guys. It's no 1-1.
Yeah. It's not straight jumps. Oh, there they are again. Never mind, they're back. Tasuk being the one who gets tripped up through that, and now we're actually seeing a switch towards Argentina. They may have the No Mod 1 roll locked away. More of those sliders try and catch people out, and Tasuk keeps getting tripped up by them, and this is leading to a potential Argentina victory in the last quarter. Will they hold on to it though? That's the question.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, even they can afford another miss here. Oh, okay, maybe not two. Maybe not both of their combos here. Hold on. Oh, it was looking so good. There's still
there's
one more. It's swinging all the way back. Oh no. Oh no, disaster. Disaster destruct. And it's gone. Oh, 100k. All right. I mean, it was looking promising though.
We did too much. We went too over the top and it completely backfired.
It's okay. You can blame me for that one. Argentinians, I'm sorry. Formal apologies for mentioning it. But yeah, I mean, Russia, okay, well, it was a little rocky, but 200k at the end there. Despite a few of the early misses here, ended up pretty solid for them. Everyone held pretty good, surprisingly, through all the weird parts of this. I've kind of just been making jokes about it, but for a lot of players who would want to play that type of map, right, it really takes you out of it. You have to aim a lot differently, you have to think a lot differently, and then go back to super widescreen jumps. So it's very easy to see people get caught off guard on this. It didn't seem to affect too many people, but that does mean Russia ends up in a 4-0 on match point here. Yeah, this is Argentina's pick. They've exclusively picked the speed, and it hasn't worked. So what now? What do they have in mind?
That is a good question. I'd really like to see Bug Thief, but I think that's more of a personal opinion than a professional opinion. If I'm being honest.
It is. Oh, there it is. You summoned it. Good, thank you. I mean, I think pretty universal opinion here. This map is so unique, so creative. Song is really good. I think people really enjoy playing and watching this one. So I'm happy to see it one more time. In case you haven't seen it, lots of not much aim in this. It's CS5. It doesn't really feel too much like a precision map. A lot of like just really interesting slider shapes. This map is art. That's how I would describe it. We're gonna play some art.
Yeah, it's it's got your tech aim and control slider mixed in with the precision. Again, yeah, like you said, real unique artist, Igloo Ghost. Really quite well known for these sort of unique rhythms, and the map follows it to a T. You've got lots of slide precision, as well as the aim control as well. But, apart from some snapping, it's just a really nice map to enjoy. The precision is actually quite nice on this. You've got a lot of overstacking in certain sections, so, it's not too mechanically demanding as you'd sometimes come to expect from a precision style map. So, I think both teams have a really good time on this, but, yeah, hopefully Argentina have got some special plan in their back pocket, because if they don't get on the board here, they're going to be quickly going down to that losers bracket.
I will say, if you judge off of qualifiers, obviously, as is most maps in here, at least most of the ones that haven't been banned, Russia has a crazy lead just in terms of scores. That's going to be expected, right, from the seed difference. But if you compare just accuracies and general scores, they're actually not too far apart on the Hard Rock 2 that was in qualifiers, which is a little bit of a different style of map. That one had a lot more cut streams and stuff, a lot more flow aim control. This one also just has a lot of flow aim control, so it's not too different. The accuracies are very similar. Some of the scores are matched. It's just, I mean, very notably in the qualifiers maps, or at least in the run that counted for Russia, I mean, Welter and Desuke really popped off with FCs on that map, whereas Argentina had none. But everyone else matched scores pretty close, so I think Argentina might have a chance here, potentially.
Yeah, definitely, although Amaro going to be finding that first reset, which isn't going to help, but some nice sliders for you. And no one on the side of Russia running into any difficulty as of yet. Everything looking pretty good for Argentina as well. I mean, they've had those two resets, Bowmilk and Amaro. There goes Boss Plays as well, so really not looking good for them. This is just Kaushi holding the line. There goes Squirrel though, so still a chance for them halfway through this map, but they need to get those supporting combos back up to speed.
It's pretty hard to do something against this. I mean, they're not moving. Like, these are really good scores. Again, all 5 maps kind of looked exactly like this one for Russia, though. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe Nomad 2 is a bit different, but I mean, 3 FCs and 1 close enough, I suppose. It's just hard. I mean, when you're against Seed 4, even on a map that you might be good on, I mean, Bullmilk is doing really good on this still, despite the early miss. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think Argentina still definitely showed some solid potential on some of the maps. I mean, Bullmilk and Boss Play is doing good on some of the maps that really matter. So it's good that they got a little bit of showing here. But yeah, I mean, it's Russia. They're gonna be good. And they're going to show us exactly why here. I mean, another map that's probably about to head up to 1 mil, even with Walter missing earlier. Pretty solid statement match from them. I think people were wondering, you know, if this team is truly all that much better than the previous ones. And I don't know. I think the answer is slowly taking shape. It is only round of 32, so the maps are a little bit easy, but I mean, these are some solid scores here. And to wrap that up, we have the nice little sliders here. The chat seems to love so much. Definitely spells out OWC. That's going to be a 5-0 for the Russian Federation over Argentina. Bit of a statement game here. 1.1 mil difference on that last map. So it is very well played for Russia here.
Yeah, that is the sort of performance you'd expect to see from a team wanting to go nearly all the way this year. And a perfect 5-0 start for them against the 29th seed is certainly the form that they would hope. So they will be moving up the winners bracket. It's not over though for Argentina. They will be back next week to hopefully come against an opponent with a bit of a better seeding option for them. But great news for Russia, they are through to the round of 16 in very dominant fashion.
That's right. I'm not sure if the brackets are done yet. Probably not on client. Do you know who Argentina's opponent is?
I believe they're going to be facing China next. Oh, sorry, Argentina, sorry. Argentina will be...
Japan then, right?
Yes. Yeah, Japan. Seed number 20.
Ooh, okay, so that should be a really close one. That should be pretty interesting next week for a lower bracket. We're not quite there yet, though. There's a couple matches left today. Some of them quite... Oh, there you go. We get to see a little bit. Here's the lower bracket, or at least the partial lower bracket for next week. You see Japan, Argentina here. A lot of pretty interesting matchups here, actually. Now that I look at it, I think round of 16 is when OWC starts to get really interesting, because some of the lower teams get fair matches, and the upper bracket starts to matter a lot more, right? We don't get like the seed 2 versus seed 30 complete one-side stops, right? So should be pretty interesting. A couple of matches left today. If we can show those real quick, we've got some really good one, very high-profile matches. A lot of teams to be looking out for. France versus Turkey, on paper, definitely one of the closest matches. I think this is probably the match of the week I was looking forward to, just in terms of seeding, and I think the stories for some of these players, right? Very interested to see, you know, what Raikkonen can do. You have any thoughts about that one? Because I guess it's coming up soon.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you've got some interesting players on both sides. You know, Turkey really making a name for themselves this year in the bracket stage, and would love to see what they're capable of against this France roster. You know, really hard to tell their 2 different runs through the qualifiers. Really consistent. Maybe France with the slight edge, but I think, you know, watch out for Turkey. They've got some incredible members outside of just Raikkonen, so it'll be a good match.
Excited to see it, and I'm not sure if this is going to be shown off now or in 20 minutes, but there might be a little something before that match as well, so make sure you stay tuned. We'll be back soon enough for France versus Turkey. Thanks for watching, everybody.